Be sure to send this to 5 people. I'm not going to be on here long, but what I am about to share with you, could change the game for you in your career. And again, this is something that has come up. It comes up a lot in our coaching sessions. It comes up a lot in our workshops and our webinars with individuals as well as with organizations. This comes up a lot. It came up a lot in my career when I worked in corporate America. This often came up, whether it was people that reported directly to me. This question, I don't know if it will ever die. But what I'm about to share with you in the next 10 to 15 minutes, what I am about to share with you in the next 10 to 15 minutes could change the game for you. So be sure to share this live with a few people, and I'm going to go ahead and hop into it. So one of the number one questions that we get, and we answer in a multitude of ways, but I wanted to get on here and give some free game out. One of the number one questions we hear, and I want somebody to type this in the comments, is why do I keep getting passed over for the job? Why do I keep getting passed over for the job? I have enough qualifications. I should be getting this job. Why is it taking me so long? Why do I keep getting passed over for this position that I feel like I deserve? That's one of the number one questions we get on a reoccurring basis, and frankly have gotten throughout my professional career as a mentor, as a leader, as a manager, whatever you want to call it. This question keeps coming back up. It keeps coming back up. So I'm here to answer it for you. 3 reasons. The 3 number one reasons I'm going to give you, and then I'm also give you a few things to address those 3 number one reasons, right? I'm going to give you a few things to address it that you can change right now. So share this with a few people. I'm about to hop into it, but share this with a few people so they can get this free game. So why do you keep getting passed over for the job, right? Chances are there's nothing wrong with you. Chances are you are qualified for the job. More often than not, the individuals that have asked me this question in their career, whether they were working for me or not, more often than not, they had most of the qualifications. They had most of the qualifications for the position, right? So chances are it's not you. So these scenarios are going to relate to the person that it's not them. They're qualified. Their resume meets the minimum qualifications. They've got some experience or enough experience to even interview for the role. So I'm going to address this, and maybe I'll come back and do a part 2 for the person that may not be meeting the qualifications, because there's a few steps there too. So why do I keep getting passed over for the job, right? Why do I keep getting passed over for the job? So whether internally, externally. So if I'm looking for this job with another company, or I'm actually internally looking at it. Number one is you don't apply. You don't apply, right? So not just the application process, right? Not just the application process, you don't apply. That's the number one reason. The number one reason you keep getting passed over is because you don't apply. The confidence that you approach, knowing that you deserve that position, the confidence that you approach it with is the application that I'm talking about. That's the application that I'm talking about. And most people don't apply, right? You know internally, I really want this promotion. I really want to get this job, right? Internally. They know it. I've been working hard. They know I deserve this promotion. But you're not talking loud enough. You're not applying. So they don't really know. But I guarantee you that person that got the job, screaming, very clear, very deliberate about the fact that I want this position. I deserve this position. Okay, look at what I've done. And we're talking internally right now. I have to apply pressure and letting people know that I deserve the position. I'm qualified for the position, and I actually want the position. Not just hoping they notice me on the sideline, working hard, getting the water for the team, right? Running around, doing everything I can possibly do just so I can get the call to go into the game. Nah, you got to tell them, I want to play. This is what I've done. I deserve to play. You got to apply. So that's the number one reason. Externally, right? that application process, yes, you have to submit an application. But let's be honest, right? Getting back to that apply. Number one reason why you get passed over. Did you just run through that application real quick, hit submit and keep moving? Or did you really take the time to apply? Did you really take the time to apply? Thoroughly read over the job description, right? Understand when everything is due. Who's the recruiter? Know things about the company that you can accentuate. Did you really take the time to apply? Or did you just type in a bunch of stuff, right? Or did you just type in a bunch of stuff and say, look, I'm gonna just hit apply? So back to the question that I'm answering today, for those that are looking to invest in themselves, we get this question so many times. This question is top of the list, top 5, probably all time. We might need to rank that and poll everyone. But top all time. Why do I keep getting passed over for the job? I deserve it. I've worked hard. I've got the credentials. I've got most of the requirements, but I keep getting passed over for the job. Internally or externally, the number one reason why you get passed over is because you don't apply. It's because you don't apply. And I don't mean just submit the application. I mean, internally, you don't apply pressure, letting people know, raising your hand and communicating that that is why you are here. Not sitting back waiting for someone to notice you, waiting for someone to see how hard you're working. That's not applying. That's not applying. Externally, right? You just type in, submit your resume, and that's it. That's not applying. Anybody can do that, right? So that's the number one reason you don't apply, right? And it may seem kind of like counterintuitive because you actually submitted an application. No, you just threw your name in a hat with thousands of other people. That's not going to separate you. And you're going to keep getting passed over. I'm here to help you not get passed over, right? I'm here to help you not get passed over. It doesn't make any sense to get passed over in this day and age. The technology that exists today, to be able to make sure you put your best foot forward is unmatched. It's absolutely unmatched. It's not like it was back in the 90s. It's not like it was back in the 90s. The technology, your ability to put together a LinkedIn digital resume, your ability to have a portfolio online where people can kind of see your progress, keep up with you, know that that's what you're focused on, where you can speak life over your career. It wasn't like that in the 90s. Not even really the early 2000s. I've been on LinkedIn for probably close to 15 years. And it's just starting to become mainstream. And we still meet people every day that don't have a LinkedIn profile, believe it or not. But the technology and the things that you can do to separate yourself, that's all about applying pressure so that you don't get passed over for the job. So that's the number one reason why you keep getting passed over. That's the number one reason. And I gave you some things that you can do differently, right? I gave you some things that you can do differently. Number two. And what Alexis C says, I promise I'm listening, but I have to point out how much I love listening to your content and how your voice reminds me of MC Light. Man, I get that so often. Literally. Thank you for sharing that. It is such a huge freaking compliment because I've been an MC Light fan probably since I was in the 6th grade. And for people to tell me, especially, this young woman from New Orleans, that my voice reminds them of, man, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for tapping into the content. Thank you for joining us. I believe that's Ash Houdini. But the number 2 reason, the question I'm answering today that we get all the time is, why do I keep getting passed over for the job? The number 1 reason is you don't apply, right? You don't apply pressure. You don't raise your hand. You don't let people know you want the job. You're sitting back waiting for them to bring it to you because they see you working hard. That doesn't work. You got to be very clear, very concise about what it is you want in the workplace. And obviously, if it's externally, you can't just fill out the application, throw your resume in there with the other 1,000 people and believe that it's going to get pulled out and somehow they're going to magically know everything about Jamila and then just want Jamila to come on board. It doesn't work that way. There's too much technology. There's too many advancements for you to be able to showcase your brand in this day and age, unlike it was in the 90s and the early 2000s, so people can see who you are, know who you are, and get to know you so that they can see you in the role. They've got to get to know you so they can see you in the role. So how do you do that? Right? So that's number one. You got to apply. Number two reason you keep getting passed over for the job is your resume gets beat by the bot. Number two, your resume gets beat by the bot. So if this is an external job, your resume gets beat by the bot, meaning that there's something in your resume from a technical standpoint, right? Whether that's spacing, the type of document that you use, Word, PDF, whatever, picture, whatever that might be. There's some words that, from a format standpoint that don't receive well. You use charts inside of your resume. Like sometimes Word does that with your resume. Microsoft Word will put it in a chart format, and maybe that doesn't scan well into the bot. But your resume gets rejected by the ATS system, which stands for Applicant Tracking System. ATS stands for Applicant Tracking System. Drop ATS in the chat for me, just so I know you're here, just so I know you're appreciating what I'm sharing with you on this Friday. You chose to invest in yourself, and that's a big deal. And now you're going to know how never to get passed over for a job again. You're going to know how never to get passed over for a job again. So number one was apply. Number two is your resume gets beat by the bot. Your resume gets beat by the bot. So some format issue, some technical issue kicks your resume out. It kicks your resume out. So that's on the external side. So if you're applying for a job with an organization that you don't currently work for, right? Two, right? From an internal standpoint, your resume gets beat by the bot. Well, you know what? Internally, if someone gets your resume and you haven't built that resume to meet the internal code, the internal language, the internal metrics, the things that the company is focused on, we're going to keep it moving, right? We're going to keep it moving. Or you don't have a digital portfolio on LinkedIn where you're communicating, whether it's directly or indirectly, with people that work for your organization so they can see. Are you following people that work in the organization in divisions in different places that you want to work? Are you connected with them on LinkedIn? How in the world are they going to know anything about you? How are they going to get to know you and see you in the role before they even open up the position? Because most hiring decisions, let me be clear, most hiring decisions, specifically for roles that are being replaced, someone's moved on, either quit, fired, or got promoted, that position already existed. 9 times out of 10, the hiring manager already knows who they want in a position before the position comes open. They already know. So what are you doing before you even get to the point of saying, here's my resume, to make sure that they know who you are? You don't want to get beat by the bot internally or externally. So again, the question that I'm going over today for those of you that chose to invest in yourself is a question that we get all the time. I mean, we're going to probably poll it. I got that idea as I was sitting here talking, just to see how often this question gets asked amongst career coaches as well as managers and leaders. And that question is, why do I keep getting passed over for the position? Why do I keep getting passed over the position? And I'm giving you the 3 number 1 reasons, internally and externally. So you're getting 2 for each of the 3 reasons. The number 1 reason is you don't apply. You don't apply. The number 2 reason is your resume doesn't beat the bot. Internally and externally. They've got to know before you get there. Internally and externally, you can't have any formatting issue that gets you kicked out right away. Right? So those are the top 2 reasons. Number three, and this is a big one, and it takes a little effort. It takes a little work, right? It takes a little effort. It takes a little work. And I don't want you to be afraid of this one. I don't want you to be afraid of number 3. Because if you're here, you're probably thinking, there's a reason why I want to listen to Jamila on Black Friday. There's something in my career. There's something about my compensation. There's something about me not being happy with exactly where I am. Or I might be happy, but I want more. Whatever that reason is, I want you to think about that reason right now. And then when I tell you number 3, I don't want you to be afraid of the little bit of work that it's going to require you to do. And that work is, number 3, the reason why people get passed over for jobs is because they fail to correlate their experience to the job that they want. They fail to correlate their experience to the job that they want. Right? So if I want to go be a CEO of a corporation, I've got to basically showcase my experience to this point, my leadership, my vision, my ability to deliver results, my ability to influence, right? That's a huge part of being a CEO, is your ability to influence, not just the people that work for you, but you got to be able to influence the board of directors. Because when you go in there with your 3 to 5 year plan, you're asking them for permission to invest the way you want to invest to grow the company. So you got to be able to influence. If I'm going for a CEO position, I got to be able to influence, deliver results, attract top talent, right? And have a huge vision for where I see the company going and being able to navigate to get to that point. So those are some of the key qualifications to be a CEO. How do I, let's say if I've been a SVP, how do I take that experience, or if I've been a COO, how do I then take my experience and translate that, right? And translate that to that particular position. But I can't communicate it like an SVP or a COO. I've got to communicate it like I've already been doing the CEO job. And then I've got to have breadcrumbs, right? That led up to this point where I'm saying, and I got my third party headhunter, my representative, my agent going out there shopping me around. I've got to have a footprint of all the things that I've accomplished. And not just, I did this project. No, I've got to be able to say, I was able to attract top talent, get them to work together. We took XYZ thing and turned it around, right? Most CEOs have turnaround jobs where they take something, a business that's struggling, and turn it into a profitable business. Or they start a new business. That's part of being a CEO. Disney didn't go basically kiss Bob Iger's butt to bring him back. I think it's Bob. I think it's Bob. Disney isn't kissing his butt less than a year later to bring him back for no reason at Disney. It's very intentional. He's responsible for Disney Plus amongst a host of other projects that he either spearheaded on his own, not on his own, obviously he had a team, but was basically the person credited with spearheading it or turning a part of the business around. They went back and got him to lead the business moving forward in less than a year of having him walk away from it. Are you able to have breadcrumbs, a track record for success, take that experience and correlate it to the job that you want? You might not want to be a CEO. You may want to be a district manager. You may want to be a project manager. You may want to be a sales manager. Whatever that job is, there are things that you're currently doing in that job. You got to now take those things and frame them up so it sounds like the skills, the talent, the results that you delivered in your current job and previous jobs as well. And it sounds like, and it feels like you've already been doing this job for years. Everybody wants someone with experience. It's tough as a hiring manager to take a chance on someone that you don't have any experience with. Know that. So it's your job to correlate that experience to the job that you want. So let's run it back. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. I'm going to answer them. I promise you, at 5 Minute Career Hack, we try not to belabor the point. We try not to tarry. We want to give you the hacks, no fluff, all action at all times. So I promise you, I wouldn't be on here long, but if you have questions, I will stay to answer them. So I'm going to run back everything we just covered. The number one question, the question that I'm answering today is, why do I keep getting passed over for the job? We get this often, a lot. We're going to poll it to actually understand if it is a top 10 question, but I know we get it a lot. The number one reason is you don't apply. Internally and externally, the number one reason you get passed over for a job is that you don't apply. Apply meaning I don't apply pressure internally, letting people know this is exactly what I want. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I am doing. And I am qualified and I deserve it. And you need to give it to me now. That's applying pressure. So that's the number one reason internally. Externally, you just fill out the application, throw your resume in there. You don't know who the recruiter is. You haven't really read the job description, all of those things. You're not applying. That's the number one reason. Number two reason, your resume gets beat by the bot. So externally, that's a format issue, right? A format issue causes your resume to get kicked out. Or you haven't maximized your keywords to make sure that it catches on your resume, match with this job, the keywords, the key things from the job description are on your resume so that it catches it and says, okay, this person meets the qualifications. Internally, right? You haven't customized your internal resume with metrics that are specific to the company or goals that are specific to your organization. You got to customize that resume internally to make sure that it doesn't get beat and get kicked out, right? And the last and final thing before I take any questions, the last thing, you got to correlate your experience. That's why you keep getting passed over for jobs. You've got to correlate your current experience and prior to that to the job that you want. It has to sound like you've been doing the job already for an extended period of time. And a great way to showcase that is on LinkedIn. That's a great way to showcase that. So those are the number 3 reasons. There's a few more, right? If you're not already qualified. This conversation is very specific to the fact that you are actually qualified for the job. So if you're qualified for the job, but you keep getting passed over, you're getting this free game today. I'm telling you, make sure that you apply. Apply pressure. Let people know what you want. Be very clear about it. Don't accept the job even and not let them know why you're there. If you show up as a manager, and you want to be a director, let them know that during the interview process. I'm very serious about this. I believe I can get it done in this period of time. I'm applying pressure from day one. This is what I'm attempting to do with or without your company, right? I may not say that in the interview process, but they're going to know very clearly that I'm looking to move my career with you. No questions. And then I'm going to keep that up while I'm there. So those are 3 things, right, that you can do if you're qualified. I might circle back and do one if you're not qualified. If you're not meeting at least the minimum qualifications, and how we get honest and do a self-assessment, do a SWOT analysis to figure out how we can quickly get from point A to point B. Point A to point B, right? So that's the number 1 question. I hope this gives you some confidence, right? And if you have any questions, I'll answer them in the chat as I wrap up. I hope this gives you some confidence to go put in a little bit of work that I'm talking about. If you don't already have a LinkedIn profile, man, you're sleeping. That's the easiest way for people to get to know you, even if you're working internally with them. It's one of the easiest ways for them to get to know you. Follow them, right, on LinkedIn, connect with them, and make sure they see what you're working on so that they can get to know you, even though they're not directly working with you in some instances. So don't sleep on LinkedIn. 2, make sure you have those customized resumes. Have those customized resumes for your internal position so that it meets the internal qualifications, right? And it screams that I'm here, I'm committed, I know what's going on, I know what the company's focused on. Make sure your resume screams that internally. Externally, format has to be right, format has to be right, format has to be right, format has to be right to beat the bots. And since you guys are here, if you haven't heard, we are doing a Black Friday deal. It's an amazing deal. Right? The link is in bio. I'm not going to cover it in detail, but you get 3 courses. Our Career Hacks Masters course, which covers the entire employment cycle. So from the point where you decide you want a job, all the way to the point where you leave a job. I don't know too many career coaches that are covering how to leave a job. It's important. I don't know too many career coaches that are covering how to leave a job. And that's also included, as well as maxing out your benefits and perks on the job, negotiation, LinkedIn, you name it, it's covered in the Career Hacks Masters course. The second course, you're getting our in-transit course, our in-transit workshop. So if you're looking to make a transition, right, you want to get promoted, you're looking to leave an organization and go to another one, right, we help you in our in-transit course figure out, number 1, what you want and how to get there quickly. Point A to point B, no fluff, all action. That's the second course you get in the Black Friday deal. The third course you get in the Black Friday deal is our career mapping, right? Too many times people are focused on what someone else said this career path looks like. You have to do this, then you have to do that. You have to do this, then you have to do that in order to get whatever job it is you're thinking about or the job that you want and that you dreamed about. It doesn't have to go that way. You can make your own career map. We show you how to do that in our career mapping course. So that's 3 courses, plus, and they all come with workbooks and all kinds of resources as well. And then we're also giving away 3 of our exclusive workbooks. Personal brand number 1, personal brand number 2, which is going to help walk you through building a professional and personal brand that will serve you in all areas of life. So you're getting the personal brand workbook number 1, personal brand workbook number 2, and our emotional intelligence workbook. Almost all hiring decisions. Again, this whole live is about if you're qualified for the job, why do you keep getting passed over? It could be your emotional intelligence. Most hiring decisions are based upon soft skills, because once they have the bot go through all the resumes in the pile, they've weeded out everyone that's not qualified. So everybody that they interview is qualified. So then you have to separate yourself. How do you do that? Sometimes it comes down to your soft skills. Sometimes it comes down to your emotional intelligence, and you're getting that workbook in this deal as well. So 3 courses, 3 workbooks, total value is $3,132 total value. You're getting so much content, so much from a resource standpoint, and we're giving that away. I'm going to call it giving it away for $37 right now for the next couple of days. Don't hesitate. But as we always say, I want you to get it. I do. I truly want you to get it. But the reason we started the 5-minute career hack is because we realized one-on-one coaching, right? We can get some things done. We can help that individual. But man, if I can get on here in front of hundreds of people at one time and share this, thousands of people at one time, more people will get it. So all we ask is that you share it with someone else. So share this live if you didn't have your friends on, but you think, hey, they might be out shopping right now and you want to share it with them. They need to hear this. Share this live with them. And if you think you know someone, if you or someone else that might need that Black Friday deal, which is 3 courses, 3 workbooks, and a ton of extras, share that Black Friday deal. And it's the first link in our bio. It won't last long, and probably we'll probably never see a deal like that ever again. It's just so much information, so much content, but it'll meet you where you are. You can pick it apart, use the modules you need right now, use the workbook you need right now, and circle back later. But you'll have your development for the rest of your career in a box with this Black Friday deal. So check that deal out. Let me know. Give me some hearts. I like emojis. Give me some hearts if this was helpful for you. Just tap that like button if this was helpful for you. I hope this blessed you. And again, don't forget to share it, right? That's how we actually create energy and start to attract the things that we want, the things that we desire in life, is by making sure we share with other people. God bless you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.